Hello and welcome to whoever's watching this. What is about to be shown here is some very basic drills and exercises that will rapidly improve your basic mastery and technical skill on the ball. A lot of the stuff that is going to be in this video is from this coach, this British coach named Coerver, Coerver, right? He was this guy that created these drills and created this thought process and training of maximizing the basic touches on the ball in order to form a mastery with the touches of all the surfaces of the foot, which I'm going to grab a shoe down here real quick. Now, this isn't a soccer shoe, but it'll do the job. So when we play football, soccer, we use our foot, and there are only a finite number of surfaces that we actually use on our foot to play the ball. All of these exercises are basically going to be using all of the main surfaces that we use when playing soccer. There are other drills and exercises that can be integrated into this, but this is all the very basics and just the necessary stuff you need to do. But the surfaces of the foot, you have, of course, the bottom part right here. Not so much the toe, but the bottom part of the toe, the sole, right? The inside of the foot, super important. This is where a lot of the kicking happens. You have the outside of the foot, right? You have the laces. You have the heel, not used as much, so there's not much that's used in this. And then you do have, in cases of emergency, the toe. We don't say no toe. We just say in cases of emergency, right? Very valid toe poke. But the stuff that you're going to see in this video is for sole and inside mainly, because those are two really important surfaces, and a little bit of the laces. But anyways, I'm going to talk you through the drills, explain what's going on, explain how you do them a little bit, and the proper technique. But that's what this video is. So I think you want to start every session with juggling because it's a really good way to get your mindset and to just build a relationship with the ball. Obviously, if you're not very good at juggling, you got to start somewhere. We're doing juggling with a bounce. So one bounce in between. Each juggle, try to keep it low to the ground. Obviously, find your own space so we don't start a fight. But this is how you learn the technique of juggling. Top of my foot, one bounce in between, keep it below my knee, try to kick it as low as I can to the ground. Once you can do this fairly easily, the normal juggling is just speeding up your footwork and taking the bounce out. And that looks, of course, like this. Now, Reese, a year ago, could barely juggle the ball like 10 times. And I told her to go home and do bounce juggling as much as she could. And I don't know, look at her now. She seems pretty comfortable on the ball. Juggling is important because it forces you to take all the thoughts out of your head and just focus on the moment and being with the ball. And it helps you build a really good relationship with it. But you should start every session with juggling. Next, we're going to go into toe taps. Now, the important thing here is we're on our toes. Look at the back foot on the ground. It's not on our heels. We're on our toes. There's a natural bounce to this, right? Both feet behind the ball, one's on top, and then we switch, right? Bounce, bounce, bounce on our toes. The ball's not moving around. Now, go at your own speed at first. If you got to really focus on the ball at first, that's fine. These guys have been doing it for a while, so they can do things like pick their head up, look around, move around the ball while doing it, do a little goofy thing. But one bounce on our toes, switch foot each time. That's toe taps. Next up, we call this TikToks or soccer boxing. Again, we're on our toes, our knees are bent slightly, and we're trying to keep our chest over top of the ball. But we're just pushing the ball side to side between our feet. We're pretending there's an imaginary line on the ground, and we're trying to keep the ball on that line, right? If we can pick our head up a little bit while doing this, that's great. But on our toes, knees bent over the ball. We don't want straight legs because then we look like a penguin, and no penguins have ever won the World Cup. Next up, we kind of combine the two, and we're doing side-to-side rolls, underside of our foot, right? Make sure we get our foot on top, push it side to side. This is back to warming up the sole a little bit. It's a different type of skill. Similar idea to the TikToks, except now we're using the sole. Side to side, make sure we're going side to side like Reese and maybe not so much like Ronan, but we call this side to side flicks.
These are called push pulls, pull pushes, pull back with the underside of our foot, and then we push with the laces. Look at Reese's toe go all the way down to push it forward. Yes, we want these quick little touches right next to our foot. We're trying to do as many as we can without putting our leg down because this is also building the stability muscles in our legs. As you can see, a little bit tired there. Go for 100, switch feet. Again, try not to put the foot down in between. So right on the back of that, it's in a similar vein. We're going to go around one foot with the ball using the other foot. Again, this is a stability exercise as well as warming up our touches. We want small little touches to go around our foot because that makes it easier for us. You want to see how many you can do without putting your foot down. This is going to be tiresome. It's going to burn out your leg a little bit, especially if you've done the others. You would try to do 40 or 50 of these without putting your foot down, and then you would switch legs. But all the stuff that we just did, if you do 5 minutes of juggling to warm up, and then you do toe taps, and then you do TikToks, and then you do side-to-side flicks, and then you do push-pulls with each foot. If you do 100 of all of those, and then you do 50 of these, you're buttoning up against, especially if you juggle, having 1,000 touches in before you even start to move with the ball. And it takes about 15, 20 minutes to do all of this. And obviously you can push yourself to do a little bit more. But, if you do this, 3 or 4 times a week, you're getting 4,000 touches in a week. In a month, you're getting over 10,000 touches. This is the dribble ladder. Right now they're doing toe taps. I would do all of these exercises down and back twice, right? So we start with the toe taps. Little touches. Notice that they rotate on the ball a little bit to change direction and they're not necessarily rolling it sideways, but lots of little touches. The key to this whole dribble ladder is little touches. We want to be as close as we can to the cones, but we also want to take as many touches as we can to move from one side to the other. So here's TikToks, both feet and ball, go through the gap. Death by 1,000 cuts, lots of little tiny touches. That's what it's about. I'd rather it take 1,000,000 touches to do this than we do it in the fastest speed ever. So that was TikToks. Now we're doing left foot only. Now the key to dribbling really well is keeping a rhythm. The rhythm is touch, step, touch, step, touch, step. So every time they touch the ball with their left foot, they step with their right foot. But notice, tiny touches, tiny touches. If you ever watch Lionel Messi on the ball, he doesn't do anything extraordinarily fancy. He just takes lots of little tiny touches. Next is right foot only. Now, outside, inside, of course, touch, step, lots of little tiny touches, right? Trying to get as close as we can to the cones without touching them. Very good stuff. This dribble ladder, again, I would do each exercise twice. And if you do it with tiny touches, again, you're going to be butting up against, probably 500 touches when you do this. This is La Croqueta. You push forward, then roll to the side. Try to keep one foot on each side. It makes it easier. And you'll notice that you're still doing touch, step, keeps the feet active. And the last one that we do is Croqueta with the roll. And this time, instead of pushing it sideways to the inside, we roll it sideways. Step into the touch, roll sideways. Step into the touch, roll sideways. And that, once you finish this one, again, I would do them all twice. You have finished the dribble ladder. This will take about another 10 minutes, so we're 25 minutes in. Now, I love these. These are L moves. The first one we're doing is pull back, inside, same foot. These are all really simple skills that can help you change the direction you're looking, and also to get away from someone stepping in and put yourself between them and the ball. Pull back inside. We're opening our hips to push the ball. And we're drawing this L on the ground, trying to stay as close as we can to the L. The next one will be pull back with the outside foot to the inside foot. We do a little bounce step swivel to open our hips up, push the ball. Again, basically using simple skills, simple touches. These skills are all very useful. Again, change the way we're looking and to put ourselves in between the ball and the defender if they're stepping in to try to win it. I have these kids doing these different ones very fast. I would do 100 of each, 50 in each direction. This next one is pull back behind the leg, step, pull back behind the leg, step with the ball. Again, just another easy, simple skill move to get you to change the direction you're looking and maybe put yourself between the ball and the defender. These will take about another 10 minutes. So now we're like 35 minutes into the session once we finish this, and we've gotten about 2,000 touches with the ball. And look, this part isn't necessarily Corvers, but I love using a wall. A wall never gets tired, and it's only going to pass the ball back to you as well as you pass it to it, and it's going to put different spins on the ball. But all they're doing here is passing it off the wall, going to the ball, half turning, and then going through the gate. You can do this where you pass it off the wall, go to the ball, and then turn once you get your touch. You can do pullbacks through the cones, but using a wall is beautiful and wonderful, and I would do it. So that's all the basic stuff that you can do to make sure that you're up and running and have a good mastery of the ball. You do this sort of thing at home or at a park, 3 times a week. And again, you're going to get over 10,000 touches in a week.
And we're back here in front of the scarves. So that's basic stuff. If you go on YouTube and you type in Corver training, there's a whole bunch of other drills that go along with it. I do that stuff, that first 30 minutes minus the passing, with every kid that I have private sessions with. Don't care how old they are, how young they are, how advanced they are. Obviously, how advanced you are, what your skill level is, kind of dictates the expectation at the speed and the smallness of the touch that you'll have. But I'll do that with every single kid that I see in training. That'll be the first 30 minutes. That's the first half. It's super important just to build the basic touches. If you can do the basics at a high level, you can get by in any soccer game on any soccer team. I know we love people that can do step overs and Rabonas and rainbow flicks and make us jump out of our seats and be excited. But football teams are largely made up of individuals that can just do the basics at a really high level. And again, like I said, if you do that 3 times a week, you're going to get 10,000 touches in a week, 40,000 touches in the month, times that by 12. We're 480,000 touches in a year just off of 90 minutes of work a week. Does it take a lot of space? Does it take a lot of equipment? No, you need one ball. You don't even need cones. You can just put socks out. You could put anything that marks space out on the ground and just go around it. So that's the basics. You can go on YouTube. You can type in Corver training. Go on Google, type in Corver training, and you'll get tons of other stuff that involves movement, stationary stuff, different types of skills you can practice. For me, those are the basics that, again, sole, inside, laces, gets them going. I think the next touch that you would probably want to focus on is the outside foot. I would ignore anything with the heel, really, and anything doing with the toe. They're nice little tools to have, but really inside, laces, and the sole, the 3 most important. Maybe start working in the outside of the foot. But if you do that, excellent, right? Doesn't take much. The second half, maybe you do some shooting. Who knows? Maybe you do something based on what position you play from a tactical standpoint. But that's the basics. You do that. Again, 30 minutes a day. Just do it 3 times a week. You're going to get almost 500,000 touches in. And then, again, who says you only have to do 30 minutes? Who says you only have to do 100 touches on those? How far can you push yourself? Could you get 1,000,000 touches in a year? And then if you're getting 1,000,000 touches in a year, how much better are you going to be in a year? Right? And the thing is, if you get 40,000 touches in a month, surely by the end of that month, right? Anyways, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to get off my soapbox. Obviously, the more work you do at home, the better you become. Obviously, the more you invest in your own development and learning how you can advance that development, the better you become. There's the basics for whoever watched this. I hope you enjoyed and learned something and got inspired to go in the backyard or the front yard or the local tennis court or wherever and just put in that 30 minutes 3 times a week so that you can get 500,000 touches in a year. Until next time, I'm Coach Jordan. Peace out.